Now you go.
All right, we're gonna have a public hearing on the Russell County Neighborhood Revitalization Plan. Is there anybody here to speak on that?
Nobody signed up.
Russell County Neighborhood Revitalization Plan?
Yeah.
How long do I have to leave it
I don't think you have to.
open? Okay. Nobody speaking, that's closed. We're gonna now call the meeting to order. We'll move on to board forum, 58-122. Does anybody have anything? I wanna say, thank you to the high school staff for helping keep the facility clean this weekend while the gymnastics competition was going. There was a lot of people in and out there. And one thing that we may need to address, and Jordan knows this now, is the gym doors, the doors down at the gym for sure. We'll probably have to look at those pretty closely here soon, so. Okay, moving on, consent agenda 58-123.
Mr. President,
Dr. Ellis.
I move we accept the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the consent agenda as printed. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passed. 58-124, public forum, nobody signed up. 58-125, student and staff recognition. We have letter A first. You wanna go first, Dr. D?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, I have Mr. Greenwood here with us tonight. He is our district's Horizon Award winner, or nominee. So I want to explain what the Horizon Award is first, and then I want to share some of the things that his recommendation letters gave him. So the Kansas Horizon Award program is sponsored by KSD and identifies teachers who are in their first year or have just completed their first year of teaching that have gone above and beyond. There's usually a few traits that set them apart from another novice teacher. Mr. Greenwood is certainly deserving of that. Each school district gets to nominate an elementary and a secondary teacher this year. Our district chose a secondary teacher, and like I said, they have performed in a way that distinguishes themselves apart from other novice teachers. So in addition to being nominated by administration, there's this pretty lengthy application that has to be completed by the school district, by the nominee. And a part of that are some letters of recommendations from a wide variety of people. So I would like to share a few comments that were made. A student wrote that from his first day, he has been fully engaged in our school community, attending extracurricular activities and community events to better connect with all of our families. He shows genuine respect for every student and parent, building meaningful relationships that go beyond the classroom. A parent shared that both of my children have had Colfer weights over the last year. Not only did they grow stronger physically, but they also grew in character. Cole frequently spoke to his students about being responsible and respectful citizens. And a colleague wrote, "Educators like Mr. Greenwood remind us why teaching is such a powerful calling. He represents the very best of the profession, of someone who believes in kids, challenges them to rise, and makes them feel capable of more than they have ever imagined." That is Cole Greenwood to a T. So I want to present to you guys our district's secondary Horizon Award nominee.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Speech. Somebody get a good picture of that.
Albert, you want a picture?
I'll take one.
What kind of teacher are you?
Yeah.
Weight, speed, health.
Weight, speed, and health?
Yep.
I can't believe basketball practice player wasn't there.
That's what I was thinking.
I figured that
That needs to be up there on the list.
1, 2, 3.
Congratulations.
Oh,
One more.
okay. 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 The leg, the leg, and the leg. Okay, okay.
All right.
Thank you, Albert.
All right, we're gonna move on to our staff, employees of the month.
Personal vanity.
Kate Brunning is our, did I say that right?
Right.
Bruning is our classified staff member of the month. If you could come forward, and Kelsey Ward is our licensed. If she or she can come up. All right, Kate is our classified staff member of the month. She was born and raised on a small farm in Ellsworth. Her son Keith attends the preschool at Simpson. She's in her first year as a custodian for USD 407. She loves Simpson because not only does she get to see her son at work every day, but she gets to see all the smiling faces. Kate shared that the positivity and communication from all staff make Simpson a unique place to work. She believes she is blessed to be a part of the team and and they feel the same way. Kate is dedicated, hardworking, and eager to learn. She is dependable and a wonderful addition to Simpson. They are thrilled to have her at that school, and we are thrilled to have you at USD 407. Kate was nominated by multiple staff members, and this is what they had to share. Kate has been a great addition to our Simpson family. She supports students and staff by building genuine relationships and showing up every day with kindness, consistency, and a strong work ethic. From the moment she started at Simpson, she made it a priority to connect with the students and staff alike. She greets students in the hallway, offers high fives, takes time to talk with them, and helping create a welcoming and positive school environment. Kate always asks if we need anything, checks over the rooms very thoroughly, and leaves a sparkle wherever she goes. She helps students with tying shoes and tidying things up around Simpson. Kate has always volunteered and jumped in to go the extra mile. Thank you.
And our January licensed educator of the month is Kelsey Ward. Kelsey is a first-year second grade teacher at Bickerdike. She graduated from Fort Hays in May of 2025. She believes that every child deserves to feel seen, supported, and successful. She is passionate about meeting students where they are and helping them grow academically and socially. Building meaningful relationships and celebrating student progress are at the heart of her teaching. She was nominated by a fellow staff member. Mrs. Ward is in her first year of teaching and has already proven to be an asset to Bickerdike. As a new teacher, she is eager and willing to learn strategies that best support her students both academically and behaviorally. Her classroom environment is warm and welcoming, which creates a sense of safety that naturally increases student learning. Mrs. Ward has implemented a wide range of interventions to meet the diverse needs of her students. In addition to her strong instructional practices, she brings positivity to the school each day with her smile and enthusiasm. Mrs. Ward is not only a dedicated teacher to her students, but also a supportive and friendly colleague. Just the real one. And this was also that. And this is Carly made that for you. So I would love to graduate. I'm not that tall.
Mrs. Ward, didn't you attend Ellsworth as well?
Yes, he did.
I remember.
Yes, actually. Two Ellsworth people.
Oh, very cool.
1, 2, 3. And you're Kelsey and you're Kate, right?
She's Kelsey.
That's Kate.
Is it, no.
I'm Kate.
Kate, okay.
Right here.
You're Kate and Kelsey, second grade teacher?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
I know. Kelsey and Kate? That's right, Kelsey and Kate? Okay. Okay. Don't blink. Sir, and don't blink. Okay, yeah, Kelsey and Kate, right? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to 58-126, Curriculum Corner, Pre-K Curriculum, Dr. Boxberger.
I'm so excited. I've never done this before. I get to show off some of my nerdiness. Do you guys have any questions about anything that I sent you or that Ms. Klein sent you? I can put the thing up on the, I think I figured out how to do that. Kim.
Kim Blackford.
Yes. Now, I've learned a lot about preschool curriculums as I was looking. And I have to say that Tatum was quite the sport because I just put stuff in her room and I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this together. She was quite the sport looking through everything. Having spoken with her and Marcy and looking through everything, we would like to propose that we order the Frog Street. It would align with what Early Childhood is doing so they could continue to collaborate. And the quotes that I got were for one classroom and for two because I know that there was a discussion of possibly two separate classrooms. So I got all of that information. After many Zoom meetings, some phone calls, and looking over everything, the best professional development was none of them. Professional development for all of them is strictly online, so it was self-led for all of them. Whatever you choose, I would also like to encourage you to consider maybe paying Tatum or the other preschool teacher, however it works, a little bit of time for her to sit down because one of them was 30 sessions with 200 extra tutorials. That seems like a lot of time that she would have to put in. And then the other ones were several things that were online. One of them had a mentor. But overall, after I've looked through everything and I had lots of fun playing with things and making all these fun notes that I have, like I said, I would suggest Frog Street would be the one that you would have us purchase. Is there any questions that you have for
Preschool
me?
curriculum,
Yes.
preschool curriculum.
How many tutorials did you say?
For the Frog Street one, there are 30 that come with it. And then there are 200 extra that have lessons attached to those.
Is that extra cost for the?
No,
200?
that all comes in the price. Now,
So-
not all of them are like that.
The Frog Street is a 6-year contract, so is that for the total of 6 years? And, I mean, comparable to the other ones,
Yes.
2-year and 9 months,
Yes.
so. Okay, so that's actually even the cheapest
Yes.
one.
The Bright Wheel looked really fun because there were lots of pieces to it. However, she would get one kit, like let's say September, and then she would have to sort through all of that stuff and have it ready for September. So it seemed a little bit excessive to me, now lots of fun. And then the creative curriculum one, that one seemed to me like after kind of looking through them and reaching out to other districts, it just seemed to be the weakest one. That was just our opinion. So,
And you're recommending the Price for the two classes, right?
Well, right now, just one, because that would be for Tatum's class. And then you have the cost if we would do 2 preschools, right?
And so I don't know quite how I want to word this. I don't know if this will make sense, but like what, you've been using it, right?
Yes.
And like, does it do everything you want it to do? Is it meeting standards? Is it bringing kids along and improving what they already know?
Well, you ask some loaded questions, because
Yeah.
no curriculum ever really gives us everything we need. If you
Okay.
really sit down to
Right,
it,
well, true, but
it
I
may
mean-
it may look pretty. It may be like, oh
Right.
yeah, all these pretty parts.
know.
The nice thing about Frog Street is she's been using it.
Right.
It's an updated version, so anything that the past version has fixed some of those things.
Okay.
There is a piece that she wrote a grant for a little bit of extra math. No cost to us, number
Okay.
blocks. It's really cool, really fun.
Okay.
I think the kindergarten might even be looking at it a little bit. It's just really engaging. But like I said, no curriculum's perfect.
Right.
So
But you feel like
I feel like after having looked through them all,
Yes.
this one was the most put together and organized in a
Okay.
way that was good for, like you said, with standards.
right.
And it would help progress for the kindergarten readiness.
And this is not just reading. This is math too.
And social studies and
And social
science
studies
and art and
Oh,
everything.
nice. Okay,
Yes.
well, that makes a difference, doesn't it? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Can you give me like an example of what one of the reading or the math of it, like what does it entail? What is it?
One of the, well, I could pull it up. So one of the Frog Street lessons, if Tatum is reading a book, it'll have comprehension to go with it for their level. The phonics piece is included with it, so it talks about letter names, letter sounds, letter formation, handwriting is all included in that. There is a little bit of play, hands-on learning with the centerpiece mixed in, because that's how littles learn best, right?
Right.
Trying to think of what else. So the reading is nice because it ties into the science and social studies. And as an elementary teacher, I don't know how many of you know that's a good piece to have
Yeah.
when you can kind of make it all flow together.
Right.
Let me see what else does it hit on. Those seem to be the high points. Let me see if I have anything else that I wrote down. There's big books, there's little books, there's instruction cards, there's photos that come with the letters and the phonograms, there's number cards. I'm not sure what Mighty Minutes is, but I feel like that was something to do with like a music piece. Does that
So
help a little
so it
bit?
does it on phonics and
Some-
basic, right?
some,
Like
yes.
basic sound, because you're saying this is preschool.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And I like that we're using something that we're already familiar with and utilizing.
Mhm.
So many times, we get into one and then it's not working, and so we go another way. And so I really like that we're doing that, so. Do we need a motion for this?
Yes.
So, Mr. President,
Yeah.
I am making the motion that we purchase Frog Street for the price of $6,653.84 for the one class.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we have purchased Frog Street pre-K curriculum for the cost of $6,653.84. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passed. Thank you.
What's your title? Curriculum development?
Yes.
All right, on to discussion items, 58-127A, Neighborhood Revitalization Program.
Curriculum director.
Mr. Mike Parsons, please step forward.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is, I think you should have the plan for the program overview in your email, but this is an extension of a program that's already been active for 3 years. The simple facts are that it provides a 50% tax rebate on any new or qualifying renovations of property, ag, industrial, commercial, or residential. So prime example would be that if we have a section of land, say 5 acres, in the unincorporated area of the county, somebody buys that, wants to build a house, the appraiser will have that already valued as grassland or ag land. They will fill out the paperwork. to build their house or the NRP paperwork. After they build the house, he will come back out, appraise it. They will pay their full property taxes for 5 years, but the county will give a rebate of 50% for the next 5 years as an incentive to build. Some would say that the arguing point would be that people are probably going to build a house anyway without this, but we've really seen a spur in both residential and commercial development. For the 3 years the plan has been active, it has worked in well over 25 properties, the program's been used 25 times to build, I think it's right around 15 houses within the county. So we know housing is an issue. This is an incentive to help build and expand into our rural communities. Any questions on the program?
You said it was unincorporated area, so it doesn't count the city. I mean, I thought that's what the map showed, but.
Yeah, the city has its own plan. So you guys have already in contract with the city. Theirs is a 10-year stair-stepped over 10 years, but equals out to be about 50%.
Okay.
But the city, you're actively partnered with the city on an NRP already. So this is the unincorporated areas throughout the county. So all the area not within city limits, and there's a square on the map of the plan, if you see it, that around the lake is not part of the program either, because the state kind of deems that recreational living. So we don't give rebates out there.
So is this for not only rebuilds, but also improvements?
As long as, so on the residential side, as long as they improve their property by appraised value of an extra $5,000, they'll take part of it. So most likely, you know, a new roof, they're probably not going to apply for the grant. It's not going to. We don't want their appraisal to go by $5,000 if they put a new roof on. Let's not get into that. But no laughing. But I mean, if you do a big addition or if you do a big full house remodel, you strip it down to bare bones, you're going to want to do this.
Well, history's shown many times the value and the importance of this type of program. It's been utilized here in the city extensively, and so I think it's a good thing. So, Mr. President?
Yes.
I'm making the motion that we approve on our behalf the neighborhood revitalization program that's presented by Mr. Parsons.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we renew the neighborhood revitalization program that's been presented by Mr. Parsons. Is there any more discussion?
How often does this renew? How many years?
This will be a five-year plan. Yeah.
Is this commercial as well as residential, or what's the?
Yep, we don't kick anybody out. So commercial, ag, it can literally anything, as long as the commercial, ag, and industrial side's over 10,000 appraised. That's the two main qualifications. Residential over 5,000, industrial, commercial, ag is over 10.
All right, all those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passed.
Neighborhood revitalization program.
Yes, sir.
Discussion item B, Kubota program, Dr. D. Mr. Flavor.
All right. Mr. Flegler graciously agreed to join me tonight to talk to you guys about something that has been in the works for several years now, and we're kind of at the point where we need to talk you guys through it and kind of get a thumbs up or thumbs down on whether to move forward or not. So we are talking about the Kubota program that will be housed in the Ag Shop. This is a partnership that we've really been exploring through NC3. That's where welding has plenty of certifications offered, and this would be another opportunity for our students to earn certifications while they're in high school. So, Mr. Flankler, please jump in. You're the expert here. Currently at the high school, we offer 11 pathways ranging from tourism and hospitality to teaching to ag. It's just kind of all over the place. And what I really love about what Russell has done over the past few years is they've picked a pathway, they've improved it, and then they're looking for the next thing. We're not like other districts where we offer kind of the bare minimum and we're stuck in the way it is. Welding is a great example of that. That shop that's out there is one of the best in the state. Community colleges and tech schools can be jealous of that. That program is very successful right now. It's kind of cemented within our building. And so now we're looking what's the next thing to improve. So CTE is funded. This is just a piece of information. We get extra CTE weightings for each student that takes a CTE class. There's also a little bit of Perkins funding from the federal government. We're a part of a consortium with three other districts that have joined together to receive Perkins funding. Excel in CTE offers college tech school credit free of charge to students. And then of course, a big driver is grants and donations. I guess here are our pathways so far. We're gonna hop in. Sorry.
I'll wait until you get down to, no, go ahead. Take up the first part here. When we get down to the welding, no, next slide. When we get down to the welding.
So the CTE teachers, advisory councils, community members all met back in October. It was on a board night, so a lot of you weren't able to attend, and got together to start the strategic planning process for the CTE programs. A lot of good information came out of that meeting. One of the things that the community asked is that we market ourselves better. They didn't realize you're already doing awesome things. You need to tell people. So we've made improvements in the brochure. If you go to the Dream Theater, there is a short clip that plays before the movie about our CTE programs. We're in discussions about putting that up at the hospital also. So that's just a small snippet of action that came out of that meeting. But they got together and kind of looked back on what improvements have been made over the last 10 years. So Bronco Radio really started the improvement cycle. Then we added fax. Bronco Innovations does community school posters and vinyl cutouts. We joined the CAPS network. CNA was brought on site instead of us sending kids out or doing it online. And then the Welding Academy in the fall of 2024.
Yeah, and when we started the welding program there and started talking about NC3, which stands for the National Coalition of Certification Centers, the unique thing about that coalition, all the curriculum is designed by industry. So the curriculum I teach in welding is designed by Lincoln Electric in close association with AWS, American Welding Society. Every program they have, the curriculum doesn't come from educational publishers, it comes from industry itself, which as a coalition they feel is very important for students getting the latest up-to-date information on what industry itself is calling for. When people started looking at that, being a member of that, we are able to teach anything that they would offer. And one of the things that people noticed right away is that there is a Kubota program through NC3, and so there was a lot of talk, a lot of interest from the community immediately for that. And so my thing was, let's get welding going, see how that goes, get that started, then we look for the next thing. And that's kind of how I operate even with the donations I get for welding. I always tell my donors that we buy one piece of equipment at a time, get that up and running, make sure we're using it before we go to the next thing. And welding, as Mr. Dimplewolf has said here, it's going extremely well. I feel like we're kind of in a groove now, and it's allowed me and some other teachers to have some time to start looking at and investigate other things. What would be a good fit with that?
And then this fall, we added a horticulture pathway, funded partly by the Big Patterson Family Foundation grant. And then Choose Aerospace will start next school year. So this is our current shop now. It is used 2 hours a day at the most, usually just 1 hour out of the day. There's equipment in here that doesn't work, really needs cleaned out, but this is a very underutilized space within our building. It's a large room, and it's just not really effectively being utilized. This is where the Kubota Tech program comes in. There's several benefits to starting this. For students, it's of course hands-on learning. That's always our goal. Student behavior is so much better because they're working with their hands, they're focused, they're learning. They have a chance to earn NC3 certifications. We get a partner with a local business or dealer on this. This will give students the training they need in order to go into a job right off the bat. Instead of being hired and then having to go train, they can start their journey a bit quicker. And then experience working with a national brand. For the school as a whole, it expands our course offerings. It also utilizes the space more effectively, increases certifications, and having an instructor certified in the Kubota program is a great benefit. And then for the dealer, you get a workforce. You get applicants that are already trained. You really get to grow your own in this deal, and you get to partner with the school to make it happen. These are the certificates on the left that students can earn, so I won't read those all. But on the right is what the instructor would have to be trained in through the professional development that Kubota offers. Currently, we do not offer any of these certifications.
Right. So this is, yeah, if you want to go to that slide there. So those 8 certifications that were on the previous slide there, this deals with their level 1 instructional bundle. So we would need these 3 pieces of equipment. We'll have a slide in here talk about price and where this equipment comes from a little bit later on. Kubota feels that this is a good cross-section of their platform technology that gives the students a good introduction to being a certified Kubota technician. The little B26 TLB tractor there on the right, that's a small 23.3 horse. Do you have another slide with the square footage?
I don't.
Well, okay. Well, so in this, so Kubota, kind of where we're at with this. So when people said that, you know, they were interested, there was community support for it, I started doing some preliminary investigation. The last 6 months, I've talked to Kubota, I've talked to NC3, I've talked to our local dealership, and what exactly are the steps for this process. This program is a little bit unique to NC3. Any of the other NC3 programs, we can just talk to NC3 and start teaching if we wanted to. This particular program, Kubota has to approve us as a school for them. They're very particular. They want to make sure their program is run the correct way. So in that, they require that we have dealer support. So I've talked to our dealer. Our dealer is very interested in the program and wanting to support that. They have to approve the space. So that's why we started looking at the ag shop. We'll have renovations that we want to, a list of renovations that need to be done to that space to approve it. The minimum is 2,000 square feet. The main shop area there in the ag right now is 2,300 square feet. If you add in the little rooms that are attached to it, that brings us to about 2,800 square feet. So if we had that renovated, that would be a step that would qualify as well. The third thing that Kubota requires is an approved curriculum. So I believe next month we'll possibly be talking about that. We have looked at several curriculums and think that we have one that they would approve as well. So we have to meet those 3 criteria in order to be a Kubota school that they have to approve. I've spoken to both the representative from Kubota, the representative from NC3. They're very on board with us in our area. The other thing, they don't want to conflict with another nearby Kubota school. The closest one is Wichita at WSU Tech. And so I've spoken to their instructor down there about the program as well. And so everything that we've done so far, all the preliminary work, we're really as far as we can go. And that's why we're bringing this before you tonight. You want to flip back to the other pieces of equipment there? Okay, yeah, right there. So Kubota does have an advanced certification system that they're just now starting that includes these other pieces of equipment. If you know anything about equipment, you can see that the price is going up dramatically with these pieces of equipment here. When we're bringing things into Russell High School, I always tell people, welding was kind of unique in that to get the equipment to do the introductory certificates for welding, that's the same equipment we use for the advanced certificates. So welding was a very expensive program to bring in, but to fully utilize the equipment that we already had, we are a leadership school, we are offering advanced certificates. With our welding program, I've talked to the Dean of Manufacturing down at WSU Tech. He really said that in 4 years, students with us get more than they get down there with him because he's under a lot of pressure to get students in and out and right to the workforce. And so we can really, our welding program is complete. The students that are with us 4 years really have no need to go on to anything else. They have all the certifications they could get anywhere else and all that training. With our other programs, we want to tailor those to what fits our community and what we can actually do. So there are some things that we're just going to give students an introduction to. Some things, they get their full certificate, CNA, when phlebotomy comes in next year, those type of things. The goal for Kubota, we would probably, it's not in my vision at least for the foreseeable future to ever have the advanced certificates here. The way this introductory program would run, after talking to how WSU Tech runs the program with Wichita East, it would take, at 1 hour a day, it would take a student 3 years to get those 8 certificates. And I've also talked to not only the instructors there, but another instructor that used to teach auto and diesel at a community college. And my goal, vision for the program would just be students come in, get those introductory certificates, they really get a good base knowledge of mechanics, and they get a lot of experience just tearing things apart and putting them back together. One of the instructors I talked to said dealerships from community colleges are getting students that have a lot of knowledge up here. For example, an air compressor on a tractor semi. You may know all about it and how to take it apart, but then you get out in the field, you pull back the hood, and you're like, oh, it's way back here on the back of the engine. How am I even supposed to get to it? He said they don't have that knowledge of even how to get things apart, access things, things like that. And so our goal would be to give them that good foundation, get those 8 certificates in the introductory, and really they would be prepared then to go on and start like apprenticing at a dealership or any type of automotive diesel place, or then they could go on to like a 2-year and get an associate's in diesel technology. Just because of space and equipment costs, I wouldn't see us advancing to this unless things would completely just blow up and go really well. So that's kind of where I see how this would fit into at a high school level.
So we are really where the color breaks there. We've researched this, we've gotten feedback, started to plan with the community. But now we're looking at the okay to continue on and move forward. Mr. Flegler mentioned finding a curriculum. we have one in mind and are ready to bring it to you if we move forward. It wouldn't make sense to bring it to you and purchase it if we didn't move forward. The improvements to the shop need to be made before we do a site visit here. So this is kind of our, in a perfect world, timeline of where we're at currently and where we want to see ourselves. The goal for us would be to have full implementation or to begin offering this program during the 27-28 school year. Which seems like a long ways away, but it's really not when we're talking about renovating the shop. On the very right here, you can kind of see how it will grow in the future. The first year we offer one course, second year 2 until we were fully operational with the 3 courses. These are the costs that we believe it'll take in order, or this is the cost to bring this program to us. Improvements to the shop, around $70,000. That is our best guess, and when I say our best guess, I mean Mr. Flagler's best guess. I trust him though. That shop just needs some work in there. Be happy to take you in there for you to look around, but it needs some work. So it doesn't have any heat currently. That's going to be something that needs fixed. Garage doors need to be replaced. Electrical upgrade. This is really moving the power to where we're going to need it. It's not a full electrical upgrade. And then paint in there. For the Kubota program specifically, the equipment for the basic level is around $95,000. Tools is $12,000, and then training is about $2,000 per event. That seems high, but we also have to fly them, whoever our instructor is, to North Carolina, I believe.
Some of the training events happen in North Carolina. Some of them are a little closer to as well. And with the shop area, that space really now is not usable. So these are things that need to be done regardless of what we do in there. And so it's not, you don't really need to think of that as this has to be done just for Kubota. Really, everything in there in that $70,000 needs to be done just to make that space usable for anything. It has been neglected for a long time, and as Dr. D said, the heat, when we were in there the other day, one heater was running. They are still the original. They're really small up there. Garage door is really old, not working. Electrical is horrible. Now they do have some new panels there. It just really needs to be run, new outlets and things run. And that only has to be 220. We need a few 220 outlets in there, and most of it's going to be 110. So we're not looking at the expansive upgrades that we had to do to the bus barn before welding could go in there as well. One of the things from my tours down at WSU Tech, and I was at a benchmark tour with NC3 down there last summer, one of the things they do for donors, they make sure that is a nice, clean, professional looking space. And when we say paint, we mean painting the floors. Also the lighting with the electrical, I included that. But they make sure the lighting is as modern and up to date as possible. When you walk into a space and just the lighting and the paint, it brings money into the program when they see that you are committed to running a clean, professional environment. So those are things that really just need to be done to that shop regardless. As far as the equipment, that's new cost. When I talked to the representative from Kubota, as long as your dealer approves it, they don't care where you get the equipment. It does not have to be new. You can work through your dealer, find stuff on Craigslist. As long as they sign off on it, then that's good to bring in there. So that would be a new cost, but hopefully we could get things in there cheaper. So overall, this is really it's not a very expensive program to run. I say that compared to welding, because I know how expensive welding was.
And then future cost, in a perfect world, I don't believe we're envisioning another full-time teacher. We're envisioning that a teacher would come in and teach the Kubota program some planned time, and then that's kind of it.
Part-time decision?
Yes, I think that's it. We just laid a lot out for you here. What questions do you guys have?
What's the interest level of students, if we would delve into these kinds of costs? Are we doing it for potentially 4 students or potentially 20 students? Do we know?
I would think that we'd have plenty interest. You're probably limited to about 10 per class. And so when you start the first year, you'd probably have 10 to 12. And there'd probably be more interest than that. But with space limitations and kind of what they recommend, that'd probably be where we'd looking at. But then as that would grow each year, then you get another first year set, another first year set. So overall, you'd probably be looking at around 30 students through the program at any one time. Once we'd reached that third year.
Well, I know there's been a lot of interest in the community, a lot of people asking about when we're gonna do something like this.
So I have a question. So this is like diesel mechanics, I mean, basically, right? So can it cross over to automotive, or is it just strictly just gonna be diesel motors?
We're looking at, as I said earlier, when we look at what do we want to accomplish with this. So yes, it's primarily diesel focused, but it's going to be so basic. Diesel engines have crankshafts, lifters, valves,
Right.
camshafts. They're going to be looking at those same basic components.
Okay.
And they'll get some into injection on the diesel side. So for our level, it's going to benefit a student who wanted to go any direction.
Okay.
Whether they wanted to go into more the automotive side or they did want to go on to the diesel side. Because as I said, right now we're envisioning just that entry level, really a good solid foundation in mechanics.
And is this like the only program out there? Are there other programs, or?
This is the only mechanics program that's offered through NC3.
Oh, okay.
And since we're already a member with NC3, plus I really like the fact that the curriculum is industry designed and
Yeah.
developed.
Okay.
So does this have the ability to do dual credit? So like if they're going through and they're getting their certifications, does it have the ability to pick up additional credit through other
In another
junior colleges,
institution?
et cetera? Yeah.
This itself, I don't believe would have that opportunity, but your question led me to a thought of, we have a great partnership with Fort Hays Tech, and they have an automotive program to where I believe it's just the senior year, they go over half day, attend their classes, come back over here in the afternoon for the required senior classes, and they earn college credit through that. So in my mind, and I could be wrong, this is like the basics. It gets you ready for that. Once you're a junior or senior, that might be a better option to go over, and you would have the interest in it. We would know the students who would be eligible to do that, whereas now it's a lot of one-on-one conversations. So.
And you said you have somebody that is interested in partnering with you as far as a local business.
A dealer?
A dealer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So can you share, or are you able to share publicly what their skin in the game is with this with us? So in other words, if we're looking at these costs, are any of these costs shared, equipment cost shared, or anything like that?
Those are discussions we haven't had yet with them. Just that they are fully on board with and would like to see us have this in here, and would help as far as working with Kubota and encouraging Kubota for us to have this in and be accepted as a Kubota school. So those things would be discussed later on once we went forward. Back to the question too about college credit would be articulation agreements. So one of the things we've run into with welding is trying to match our schedule with a college schedule. And plus, since we're Lincoln School, I have to teach certain things. But we have, we're looking at like an articulation agreement. And so I think that would definitely be a possibility as well with this program.
Well, I think with the success of the welding program, because, I mean, those were some of the sitting arguments when it first started, is like, well, how many kids is this going to? And that's built quite a bit with the inception of that. And I think if we're looking at coming up with a different future for Russell High School, these CTE things, the CTE classes, and implementing these types of education into the system is probably going to, I mean, I think that will just bring people in, because that's the way to reach people that, I mean, we've got programs that they can't get anywhere else. I mean, our welding is compared to the colleges and stuff. So, and they've come and actually seen the welding program, correct? And pretty impressed with it. So these are the types of things I think that we need to start really looking into and paying attention, and how we can incorporate those into the institution, and also then start to be able to figure out how do we take those other classes, and incorporate that kind of stuff with contract writing and sending out letters, and the math, and all that stuff that goes along with it. Yeah, kind of the whole business part of it. And if we can incorporate that, we're gonna have something in Russell that you probably really can't find in a whole lot of places. And if we have to, really invest in these types of things, I think that's absolutely one of the things that we have to start looking into to set us apart from everybody else.
I've talked to several of our local mechanics, and one of the things that each one keeps saying is they are really finding it difficult to find qualified individuals to come in and work as employees, or even potential future owners. And so I'm kind of like you. I mean, we need this. I guess my last question is, how much community support in these costs have you been able to come up with yet? Or are we gonna be doing the 70,000 and then anticipating some help coming from the private sector? I mean, how do you envision that?
Yeah, we haven't had those conversations yet. I think that would have been getting the cart in front of the horse on this. But I think if the green light is given to continue planning and getting them in, those are the types of conversations that we can begin. The other thing to think about is grants. The Patterson grant, they've offered a CTE grant the past few years. I don't see them discontinuing that, so that might be something next year that we can look at getting some of these costs from.
Thank you.
So what do you need from us to move forward?
Mr. Superintendent.
Commitment.
Yeah. I don't know as if it's a motion or whatever. I need guidance on, yes, continue planning, move forward, bring us curriculum. These are rough estimate numbers, so we need to talk about getting more concrete numbers, but really that's from you guys on, do we move forward or do we pause or stop?
I think this is the direction to go. I think we need to get that room remodeled. It's empty space. It's just sitting there that could be utilized and would attract some of these students that are not four-year college bound. So you have 100% my approval.
Yeah.
If we need it in a motion, I would move that we support.
I think everybody's in agreement.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think so,
but
too.
the conversations, I don't even have to say anything, because you guys know how I feel about it.
But we've
Then,
been talking about wanting to have this since we first went to our first VOTEC in Topeka, and with Mr. Coker. And I mean, this is something we need, so I'm on board too. So.
And I appreciate the way you started welding and we've got it going. Now we're ready to take the next step. We're doing this step by step instead of just grabbing them all. So I think we're going about it the right way.
And to answer whoever asked about the automotive program, who knows in 3 years when we get this going, there may be something out there that, hey, we have an instructor and they wanna be full-time, we can offer that, you know, but I think let's do what we do and let's get it going and get it right, and then we can look at expanding. I know as going to a program based on mechanics, how expensive it can be as when you get into that field. And a lot of my friends that I went to school with did not end up becoming technicians, and they spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on tools that are sitting in their garage that most people that are shade tree mechanics or do their own maintenance on their cars would not own. So this is a great program way to get these kids introduced to see if this is something they want to do, and if not, at least they have the knowledge now to go at least change their brake pads in their driveway, or change the oil on their car, or put a belt on if they have to, you know, basic stuff. So I think everybody here is in agreement, so I think continue on.
So our next step would then, we'd probably be looking at requests for pricing for some of this stuff so that we could bring that back to you, and then really get that shop on the pathway to being renovated so we can get Kubota out here to look at it and approve that space.
Can you guys, do you think you can figure out what you need to do in that shop without having to hire an architect to do it, or, okay?
Kevin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be my shop.
Kevin's good enough.
Please, Neil, I'm sure Neil can help you guys to figure that out, so.
And I'll reach back out to Jeff Wagley at Kubota. And just ask him what they're looking for. And if he's coming by the area, I'll have him take a preliminary look at the shop now and what we want to do, and make sure we're going in the right direction before we would ever bring a proposal to spend money to you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Might as well stay right there, Kevin.
Yep.
Aerospace.
All right, moving on to aerospace science credit. So Dr. D and Kevin.
I think this is the last time you'll hear from us tonight. As discussed last fall, we were selected by WSU Tech to begin the Choose Aerospace project, one of few high schools within the state to get that honor. We have our instructor here, so he's been digging through the curriculum quite a bit. It's a 2-year program that contains trigonometry, statistics, and is heavy on physics. What we are proposing is that we offer that students earn a half credit of science for completing the second semester each year. So the 2 courses that will go into our course offerings are Aerostructures A and B and Aircraft Systems A and B. We would like to be able to award a half science credit for the B sections. Is that confusing? Okay. So once they complete the entire 2-year program, they will have earned a science credit from that.
One science credit.
One
Maybe
science.
2 years.
Yep.
Not for the A part, but for the B part.
Only for the B.
Do they just get elective credit for the A part then?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm not very familiar with this, so what, so the things you just said, physics and trigonometry, so those are the type of things they would learn in regards to aerospace engineering, or?
Well,
Sorry.
that's fine. What this program is, it's a national program, was started maybe 3 years ago. The curriculum is designed by Clemson University, and it's the first 4 general credits of the FAA A&P license, which is the airframe and power plant mechanics license.
Oh, okay.
So through a grant that WSU Tech got from the federal government, It's completely free to us for 3 years. The students earn 16 hours of college credit free.
Oh, wow.
Upon completion of this, if they want to, they have to continue towards their A&P license. They have 2 pathways. They can go on to an aviation technical school, Tulsa, Wichita, or the FAA has a pathway where they can, with these 4 credits, work under a licensed A&P mechanic and apprentice towards their A&P license. So again, we're giving high school students something that they can take directly out of high school and go to the workforce with. Now, when looking through the curriculum, why I picked the second semesters, just because of the way it was laid out with the physics that was in there. We'll be talking a lot about pressures. I can incorporate like Dalton's Charles Law, partial pressures. When we're talking about gases, we'll be talking about a lot of fluids when working with hydraulic fittings, actually hands-on labs, things like that. So we can talk about Bernoulli's equation. There's a lot of trigonometry when we're talking about lift and things like that we'll be incorporating into it. And as I looked at it, I thought, this is the best actual in-person, hands-on lab physics opportunity that we've had for students in several years. And that's when I went to Dr. Nippy Wolf and some of the other administrators and said, hey, is this a possibility?
The important thing to note is that this is a local decision, and it won't affect the Kansas Scholars Program. So if a student wants to be a Kansas Scholar, they will still have to take physics.
Yeah.
So,
It won't take them.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Mr. President,
Dr. Ellis?
I move or recommend that we approve this as a science credit.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve aerospace as a science credit at Russell Junior Senior High. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Wow. All right, moving on, 2024-2025 audit report.
Yes, so in your packets, you have the audit report from BFR, our auditors. They gave us an unmodified opinion on our regulatory basis of accounting. You'll see that we had an adverse opinion, but that's just stating that we did not prepare our statements in a GAAP basis. So they have to just note that we're not following GAAP. But however, we do follow KMAG. So just a couple notes that I have, just basic on reading the financials. On page 5 is the summary of cash receipts, expenditures, and unencumbered cash. You'll see a column of unencumbered cash balance and then the ending cash balance. The ending cash balance is what is in our bank at June 30th, but the unencumbered cash balance is actually our cash balance, which includes encumbrances and payables. A payable is that money that's owed because we've ordered something. An encumbrance can be a commitment. So if in June you committed to purchase something, that becomes an encumbrance. So I always, when I had audit clients, always advise to make sure if you're approving something at the end of the year, you want to make sure that you really want to spend it at the end of the year. So that's the difference between unencumbered cash and ending cash balance. So we ended with an ending cash balance of 3.2 million. Our cash in bank was 4 million. Then on the audit report on page 13 is the summary of actual to budget. We did not go over budget, so we were good there. Just want to point out a couple other things. Page 15 is our supplemental general fund. Just want to note that we expended everything we could statutorily to our legal max, but we do have a little bit of cash carryover, and what we do with that is to pay for expenses out of supplemental so that while we wait to get our money incoming into supplemental. So we were going down a little bit, we were a little bit high in our supplemental fund, so we're adjusting that balance down just a little bit, and we ended up with $243,000. But that carries us until we get our taxes and then our tax distributions, and then our state aid. So we always want to keep a little bit of a cash balance in there. Page 19 is our capital outlay fund. Just want to note that we've been ending the years with about 1.4 million in capital outlay, which is kind of where we want to be each year. You know, if we have a huge expenditure, it might dip a little bit, but this is a safety net in case something would go terribly wrong and we would have to fix something so that we would have enough funds. Point out our federal funds. In 2024, we had $728,000, and in 2025, we drew down $472,000 in federal funds. So that is federal source grants, and that is dependent on whether we're single audit or not, and I'll discuss that here in just a minute. Also, I wanted to note about contingency reserve. We are still working on bringing up our contingency reserve, which we need to have about 1.2 million in there, which would cover, I think it was 10% of our general fund cash, and then also our insurance. So to get it up there, we're still transferring $95,000 a year, and it should take us about another 5 years to get where we need to be. So it just had gotten drawn down, so now we're just working on getting that back up. So, and that covers us if we don't get a distribution, or the state, something happens there, or we can go into that fund, or if we have another disaster, the health or the insurance part of that will cover our deductibles. So that's kind of where we're at. Page 42, or the single audit portion, what makes us single audit in the past was $750,000 spent. That's not received, that's spent. So if you notice in the federal funds, it's a negative cash balance, which is an okay, it's a acceptable cash violation, because we have to spend the money and then get reimbursed. And so sometimes that doesn't happen in the same year. So, but you have to spend $750,000 in federal funds to be a single audit, which we did. So we were single audit. This next year it goes up to $1 million. However, with that Adopt 2.0 grant for the computers at $700,000, with all of our other federal funds, we'll most definitely be single audit yet again this next year. So I know that was quite a quick overview, but if there's any questions, or if you ever have any questions and looking through riveting reading of the audit report, just let me know and I can explain things.
Wow.
So.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move that we approve the 2024-2025 audit report from BFR LLC as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the 2024-2025 audit report from BFR as presented. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passed. All right, moving on to letter E, Russell Junior Senior High School Video Board Update. Mr. Perez.
Mr. Sanders and I met with Jason Nye again last week. Since the last Board of Education meeting, we do not have any new updates. The only thing that we need to be mindful of, Jason did reach out to the company who he would want to purchase the equipment through. And they believe if we don't have the money in hand by March 1st, it will not come to fruition. The time it'll take to install it and get everyone trained, we won't have enough time for the football season. So Jason Nye is going to keep us updated, and he'll let us know before March 1st or by March 1st whether or not it's going to be a possibility for this upcoming school year or not.
Okay, is this gonna be installed in the Amos Morris gym?
There would be a video board at the football field,
Oh, at
and then
football field,
two
okay.
video boards inside the gymnasium.
Moving on, elementary playgrounds. Mr. Perez again.
Yes, in your packet, you see a quote provided by Mammoth. There might be multiple in there, so I'm gonna walk you through it. I apologize, there are a lot of pages in here. Eric, who works for Mammoth, the very first time, he submitted this picture, and I'm gonna show it to you. And the first picture was just simply getting rid of the mulched areas and putting either turf surfacing or a pour in place in those designated areas. One of the things I expressed to him is that is a definite upgrade. We would not have to continue purchasing all the rubber mulch and also worrying about it getting washed away or all over classrooms when they get stuck inside shoes. But one of the concerns with that plan is the students still run from piece of equipment to equipment and they're falling down. As a matter of fact, when I was over at Simpson today, there was a call to the nurse that a student fell and hit their head and had to be sent in. So because of that, I said, I want a dream big idea, and then we can scale back. But I want something that shows if we were to pretty much go all out, what would it look like, just so we have the price. It's easier to work backwards than to keep adding and not knowing where those prices are. So if you continue looking in your packet, there is one that shows a much bigger area. It is the entire designated area, not including the fenced-in section. We were also mindful of this little area because of future bond implications, and we didn't want to focus anything on the very south side of the building, just because that makes it hard for supervision. The teachers do try to keep them up here. So Mrs. Ravel was part of this conversation. We just walked through it. So in the quote, you see two different surfaces. One is for just complete replacement of turf in that whole area. The other is pour in place. You see the pour in place is much more expensive, about $50,000 to be exact, but there are trade-offs. Anyone who sells turf, they will tell you 8 to 10 years. They do have a 10-year warranty. Most places are getting a lot more than 10 years out of turf anymore. A prime example is our football field. But the pour in place will last longer, so that is something to consider.
Wow.
So yours,
Do you have another wow?
Oh, it's Bickerdike, it's Bickerdike.
So we haven't talked about Bickerdike.
Oh,
So
this is Simpson, right?
this is Simpson, and I'm gonna set this up. I know that our price point was about 200,000. If we looked at turf surfacing with the base construction and removal, we're over 200,000, not much more than 200,000. But we found a grant opportunity that might allow us to not only do Simpson Elementary, but both at the same time. So I'm gonna pass the conversation to Katrina.
So actually kind of two grant opportunities. One being, it's already passed, but they seem to open that every year, and it's the Waste Tire Grant Program, which they match 50/50. And that would be for the pour in place. So, but it may not be the full 50, it depends on how much they allot for that. The other one is the Land and Water Conservation Fund. They fund playgrounds, and the playground off of Main Street, it was funded by this grant. I've already been in contact with them. The grant, they match 50/50. The grant is due July 31st, and then it's an approximate 3 to 6 month wait to see if you, if they accept you. And then it ranges from, can't be less than 10,000 to, it could be 10,000 to over $1 million. So however big we want to go, but we have to match 50% of that. So I don't know, I can ask some questions. Do we, want to include a few different equipment? Is our equipment getting old? I need to make sure that they would just do surfacing only, if that's the route we want to go, so. But this is an opportunity to possibly get some funding for our playgrounds.
Would you have time to complete that grant application before July 31st?
Definitely, it's not, I've completed it before, it's not that difficult. I just need information from a contractor to be able to do that.
And if that's the route we go, I mean, it's the understanding that we're pausing and this won't come to fruition this summer, because we'll want to see that out. So the next step for me would be to do the same thing with Bickerdike and bring that plan to you, and then we can really kind of hone in on what we like and dislike about it, so that we have time to make those adjustments before Katrina gets everything
Yeah, and I've
set up.
already contacted them to make sure that we could do 2 locations, and he didn't feel that that was a problem. There's a couple caveats with this grant, however. It has to be, you have to allow public to use it at any time. So, I mean, we couldn't lock our gates, and we have to allow the public to come in after hours. And then it has to remain a playground in perpetuity. There are some exceptions that you could get out of that, but I don't know that that's that.
So like, let's say we did something at a Bickerdike, for example, and we decided at some point we need to add on to our structure there. Have any idea how?
That
if it
would
is
be
legally-
okay as long as we still have a park there or a playground there, that's okay.
But if we closed it, that could be a problem.
Well, yes, but we could keep that open as a
Oh,
park,
as a
or,
park or
right,
something.
right.
Okay.
Or we could say, hey, we're no longer, where lifespan is gone,
Okay.
Yeah, so if we closed that building and that building, let's just say, sold, it's end of our lifespan for that.
Right,
So
we
we're
could
not
get
committed to beyond that.
possibly, I mean, we'd have to get permission.
In perpetuity.
And I have a question. So the first number is for the smaller area of Simpson, and the second number is the whole thing? Is
Can I
that-
see what you're?
Yeah, like, so this is the first number, and then this is the second number.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
So the very first page that you showed,
Yes,
that
that's,
would be if you just did the already designated
Okay.
areas. And then the
Whereas-
second part would be if we put that whole strip.
okay,
So connecting each piece of equipment.
okay.
But
That's kinda what I
Bickerdike's
was
area is
wondering.
gonna be a little bit smaller.
Yeah, and really Bickerdike, under the new equipment, they already have the pour in place. So it would really be, do you target under the swings? But really it would be the asphalt portion where they play football and kickball, converting that to either turf
Probably the biggest expense there is gonna be getting the drainage right.
Yeah,
Because we all know
and that's
there's a big drainage issue there.
And that's one of the reasons why I think this is probably gonna be a lot better for us in the long run if we can get that kind of surface because of that drainage issue.
You're talking the pour in place? correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
because they do, when they do the pour, and I just know this information, when they do a pour in place, they have a drainage system and then it drains out. So they do configure that in there.
Now, even if we went turf,
Yeah.
they would still have to put in
Right.
drainage. And so they would have to deal with that. The advantage of the pour in place here, I think, is that you're evacuating water even better.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no chance for that to get
Yeah.
into where it's been causing a problem in the past.
Yeah, I'm in favor of the pour in place, from what I've looked at, and it just seems to be, even though it's a little more money, it's gonna last longer. I think it definitely will be cheaper in the long run.
Well, and that was gonna be my question. Do we have an estimation on the lifespan of that? I mean,
Yeah, so that,
Yeah,
that should have
it was
been.
quite a bit.
It said 15+ years.
Yes, that was quite a bit.
It was
I saw that
somewhere in
somewhere.
So,
I didn't see that.
I feel like,
Yeah, 15 to 20 plus.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very first page, like.
Oh, okay. I didn't go too
And
far.
if we go after the one grant, there's also, if we do the pour in place, that waste tire grant program also, that could pay for a portion of it also.
Pay for
part
that
of-
plus.
Part of our 50%.
We could do
yeah.
part, like, hybrid, like we talked, hybrid models of pour in place and then turf.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can customize it any way we want. And they talked to Mrs. Ravel and I about that. so.
Having a
So-
little bit of turf would be nice in conjunction with this.
I think especially at Bickerdike, where they're really playing a lot more football, the turf really makes sense there.
So we're looking at postponing or delaying what we had talked about doing if we want to move forward with the larger project and applying for grants.
Yeah.
Maybe getting 2 for 1, basically.
Right.
Yeah, that, the hope's getting 2 for 1, and if not, it just delays the project a year.
Well, our playground's been bad anyway. I don't see any harm in delaying it for a year, as long as we know.
How long will we have to spend those funds?
I believe it's a couple years after, I'd have to look at that, but I think it was a couple years after
Because
you get
one,
that.
like at Bickerdike, one thing that we need to be mindful of before we do any playground renovation, if the bond would happen to fail or pass either one, is we have to get we need to upgrade the electrical in that building before we put a playground in, because that electrical comes through that playground now, underneath of it. So we wanna make sure that we take care of that before we start putting a surface up there.
Well, we're
Right,
talking about
so
that.
we're talking, we wouldn't even know for 3 to
Yeah.
6 months after July.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, that's why I asked, how
Right.
long we had to spend these funds. That way we can, we know that it's cheaper to go out and approach these projects sometimes on your own versus going through doing what we're doing now.
And I don't wanna be negative, Nellie, but if we would not get any of the grant funding at all,
Yeah,
then we would just revert
Yeah.
back to just
Right.
looking at Simpson.
yeah.
Mrs. Ravel, what would you like to see on the playground?
Well, I have a question first. So we did waste tire at the preschool playground. That's how we afforded the preschool playground. Katrina, do you know, can Simpson qualify for waste tire again when they
yes,
just received
yes,
it?
they can.
Is there a period of like
No.
how?
No, just as long it states, so it's closed for this year, which we wouldn't wanna apply for it for this year anyways,
Yeah.
cause we're not ready. But as long as the last grant is closed and we didn't have any findings on that, we can apply again.
Okay, that was my only hesitation. I didn't want to delay Simpson if we're waiting, if there's a wait period for
No.
the waste tire. I think, to answer your question, I think there's pros and cons to both. My biggest concern is if we only do pour over in sections, that doesn't increase the safety in between equipment. And that's where we see most of our injuries, our kids running from piece to piece. I just think we have to figure out a way to improve the quality of the foundation, the quality of the asphalt, so.
And that's kind of what we're looking at with the hybrid turf between, and it looks like they're gonna, from what I've read, they'll put a 2-inch rubber infill
Yeah,
underneath of
and like
that, so
sand and
that'll
stuff, he explained that.
soften that blow if they do fall.
I just hate to delay it, it's something we've been doing for so long,
But this
so-
would be the time if we need new equipment, to do new equipment, because you don't wanna do all of this and then have to replace the equipment.
So
And we
something-
certainly do need new
Did
equipment.
did I understand you correctly? I just want to make sure that when it comes time to resurface, would we be able to apply again? Is that is that cost on us? I mean, does that
So
look like-
the waste tire grant program is a 50-50, and they fund it every year. They don't know when the grant comes out, and that was due back in January, but we decided we weren't close to ready to even apply for that. It's state funds, and so they would cover 50% of part of the cost, however much they allocate to that program, which they never know. So we could get, I don't know, what did we get the last time, Katie?
The grand total was 90,000.
Okay.
Yeah, but
For our cost, or?
I'd have to look it up. ECC chipped in a very large chunk.
Right, so they pay 50, we pay 50, but it may not be 50-50, but it would cover part of the cost of this other grant
Floor in
too.
place was what I was really speaking
Right.
to. Is this the same type of situation there? Is that a new grant we would have to apply?
No, that is that waste, you could use that for the waste tire grant, because that is what that basically is the pouring places the rubber from the
Gotcha,
waste
okay.
tire,
All
yeah.
right, all right, that makes sense. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, moving on. Russell Junior Senior High School Sports Complex lighting bids.
Yes, the information that I received about the high bid is because they do not specialize in that. That is not an area that they are really familiar with, so it would cost them a little bit more. So in the packet, you see the two lower bids, one from Heineken Electric for $39,400, and the other from Musco for $46,680. Currently, our equipment and lighting is from Musco. Katrina discovered today that no matter who we go with, insurance will pay $38,660 toward the
Yeah,
project.
they called me today, apparently someone sent in the Musco bid, and they had the other Musco bid from a couple years ago. So I don't know how they got the bid, I'm assuming that Musco sent it in to them. But they will only pay $38,660, which was the original bid 2 years ago.
My opinion is we have Musco equipment, and I would just assume let them do the work, means they're familiar with it. You know, when Heineken, or however you say that, gets in there, they might not be familiar with that equipment, or it might be stuff that isn't compatible, and then we'll have a change order. It could end up costing us the same amount anyways. That's my opinion, but open to hear what other people have to say. Does anybody else?
The only thing I noticed is that the Heineken is from, it's Kansas company.
Yeah.
Beloit, Kansas.
That's what I
They're
noticed.
close. If we needed a simple repair, I think it might be easier. You know, the other one is from Iowa. But
Sure that reps.
I'm not sure, you know, that makes a great deal of difference. That was just one thing I noticed.
Yeah, I agree with Joyce. That was my thought too. It was a Kansas company. But whatever.
I think Brett brings up a valid point there, I mean, as far as changeover, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
there is that potential Heineken's done work for us and done a great job, so we could go either way and be okay. But going with the company that did the work originally, there might be some advantage to that.
So we'd be about, what, $8,000 difference, or $8,000 that we'd have to come up with if we went with Musco.
Almost exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and the other one's got 1,000.
Mr. President,
Yes, Ron.
I am going to make the motion that we accept the bid from Musco Sports Lighting for $46,680.
Second.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the bid from Musco Sports Lighting in the amount of $46,680 to fix the lighting at the Schaefer Field Complex. Any other discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passed. All right, next item, KSB Board Policy Update, second reading.
Any questions? The fun stuff.
Read through it. Mr. President,
Dr. Ellis?
I move we approve the, excuse me, KASB board policy updates as recommended.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the KSB Board Policy Update as recommended. Any other discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. Land transfer,
Yeah, really don't have much of an update. The Board of Education for USD 112 did make a motion. Of course, there are a series of steps they have to now follow, including notice of hearing and then officially closing the building. So I will continue checking in with Mr. Murphy over there and getting any information that's relevant back.
So they didn't have a hearing date and.
I don't know when that is. I don't know if they were able to hit that timeline for it to be denied or not.
Okay.
all right. Letter J, excess property disposal.
I was almost done with this task. I'm gonna ask for one more month to bring this back to you.
All right. We'll table it till next month. Russell Junior, well, item, or agenda item K, Russell Junior Senior High parking.
I want to bring this to your attention. We had a leak under the science classrooms at Russell Junior Senior High School. Because the asbestos has been disrupted, two of our people that we tend to rely on, American Boiler and Glassman, they will no longer be able to service those pipes until there is an abatement. So we are trying to figure out what we can do. We're hoping that we can limp by with no major catastrophe in the meantime. But I just wanted that on your radar, that now we are to the point that people will not do work because of the conditions of our facilities.
How big is that section we're talking?
It stretches the whole hallway.
Do we have a link?
I can get it.
That's probably 300, 400 feet. The whole hallway, from the office going north.
Because we have our experience, what we had when we did that at Simpson.
Mhm.
We have some ability to look back and have kind of an idea.
Engage.
Yeah. The cost is gonna be a little higher, but
Also replaced or checked the asbestos out of Bickerdike.
I'm sorry.
We've also taken asbestos out of Bickerdike tunnels too.
Is there a grant opportunity for asbestos?
So, yes, there is.
If I wanted to.
There's brownfield money. However, we haven't met that deadline, and it's an extensive grant that we have to get KDHE involved in and abating that. It will come back open next year in January. usually the deadline for that, but we have to have all of our ducks in a row to apply for that money there. So when the leak occurred, we didn't have time to even be prepared to even apply for that grant.
And that leak that we have currently, that's not doing something that's just gonna let us have that much time? Or do we?
I don't know.
Did you guys have a leak today, a different leak, I'm hoping?
That was a different one.
Different.
That one
So
was
He still
the
wasn't
tornado
received.
shelter.
I do have the NOFO printed out for that, the brownfield funds. The state doesn't have any money, but the feds do. We just have to meet all the steps, and we have to work with KDHE.
That was the last time we got somebody to look at that building, it was over $1 million just to do the tunnels.
I knew it was high, but I didn't remember it being exactly $1 million.
That's all asbestos that we have
That's
left?
just in the tunnels.
Just the tunnel.
That's just the tunnel.
And Neil says it's really disrupted in that hallway, not so much anywhere else, but that stretch for some reason is way worse
No,
than
it's
any
a
other
tunnel
area.
hallway.
Do we have settling going on there?
Just
Can we get insurance?
60 years old.
Yeah.
So,
So we don't have, if it's,
It's a tunnel.
Not that I'm
any other
aware
problem
of.
with foundation area?
Huh?
the worst part is we have to shut the building down. Nobody can be in there while they do that.
And they usually tunnel underneath the.
And we can't address fixing the leaks until we address.
Till summer,
Right.
Yeah.
or we shut down the building
Yeah.
and then you guys get to go to school all summer.
We have plenty of learning space here at the district office.
Okay.
I don't know if we can do a portion of it, just to get somebody in there, to fix the leak and then apply for brownfield money, but,
Sure, you're gonna run into, once you disturb this pipe,
Yeah.
that pipe
Right.
over there is
Yeah.
gonna start
Yeah.
leaking.
Water pipe leak? Water pipe leak?
Yes, on the hot water system for the heat. Let's keep these 80-degree days.
Yeah.
We don't need it that way. Letter L, Patterson updates.
I wanted to provide an update. I think this is really cool. To date, we've paid out over $42,000 to staff members who are working to attain their initial teaching license. So a lot of people have taken advantage of that program. When we accepted the grant, we received $90,000, so $42,000 paid out, and still plenty to go.
Letter M, summer board retreat.
I know it seems early to start thinking about this, but the earlier we get it on our calendars, the easier it is for everyone to start planning around that. So is there a date anyone has in mind for summer retreat?
I was just looking at my calendar, and I am pretty much busy until the middle of June, every weekend.
And I'm gone the last week of June, 23rd through 29th.
I'm on the 9th through the 23rd.
So June's out.
So June might be out.
Well, I don't think that we've had this problem before. We can't, everybody doesn't necessarily have to be here. But we need to have a majority, I guess. Cause I had to miss 1 year. I know I was gone when they had it.
What does the summer retreat consist of?
Typically, we go over the strategic plan. We do updates there. We look at the needs assessments. The Board of Education has to review each building's needs assessment before they can officially approve and adopt the following school year's budget. We do superintendent goal setting. So it's just a nice day where you sit down uninterrupted and can really focus on big picture items.
Yeah.
Another thing that we revisit now every June is we look at our 12-year capital outlay. We talk about projects. Now that we've prioritized them, that might be a really good opportunity to say, okay, some of these we've knocked out, do we need to reprioritize anything? So it's just a full day that we carve out. I think last year we started at 8:30 and ended around 3 o'clock, 2:30.
Are
Yeah.
we still thinking like Saturday?
Yeah. Saturday morning
I
start.
I'm open on the last part of the month or the middle part for that one.
My calendar's free, so far.
We need to, I mean, we don't have to set a date tonight, but we need to next month. That way at least the admin team
How about?
also can plan their schedules because we have to think about them as well.
How about you give me 3 dates and I will send out a survey to you guys and we'll let majority win if that works.
13th, 20th, and 27th.
Does that work for everyone to send those 3 dates out?
Okay.
I know the 13th I will be gone.
Okay, I will send that out to you guys.
Well, then, we'll just table it.
Yeah,
We're gonna table
So next
letter
meeting.
N, so now we'll move on to department reports. I don't have anything to report other than, I guess I do. Jordan and I will be, and I don't know, are you gonna go?
No.
Okay, traveling to Topeka to, and I'm sure he can say more to this, on Wednesday morning now to talk to Senator Bowers and whoever else may be on the committee. I don't even know what the committee's called. Local,
Local government budget, I believe is what it is.
yeah, local government budget. Yeah, she talked to us about it that day. She wants us to come and explain why schools should have the ability to maybe pursue sales taxes on their own or via the county, because Senate Bill 223 is no longer even an option.
Yeah.
They shot it
Instead.
down.
It won't make it out of committee and it will not hold a hearing, so. Today, just kind of piggyback, I did submit written testimony on behalf of the steering committee. I shared that with steering committee members. I don't know what will come out of the meeting, but I think it is a great opportunity, especially from a school standpoint, to explain how these things, especially in small communities, could be beneficial for the future. So I'm eager and excited to get up there and do some public speaking, and who knows, maybe hope for the best for futures.
Yeah, it's probably something that won't happen for years, but at least they'll know
You have to
that
make the first step.
they need to change the way that some of these projects are funded.
The other part of that, Senator Bowers thought it would also be a good opportunity with the school finance formula sunsetting to have a school district perspective there too. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too.
We'll report back.
Yeah. So, do you have anything to add to your report?
Well, I was in Topeka last Friday. I met with Commissioner Watson, and typically there's a dozen of us. There were only about a half dozen of us this time, just because a lot of people were participating in board training and other things. It was a really great session this time. We focused on our data. He had a graph that showed every school district's data, and you had no idea who they were. The graph went from 0 to 100 vertically on your percentage of students in scoring in levels 3 and 4 on state assessments. And then horizontally, it went from 0 to 100 based off poverty. So a lot of discussions, and a lot of us were sitting there wondering which dot's ours. And it did lead to very good discussions. So we went over our accountability reports, like I said, the state assessment data, and we had really tough conversations. I know when you sit in a room like that, and you have to be vulnerable, sometimes it's very hard. Sometimes the data is not what we want, but it's ours to own. And I felt that applied not to us specifically, but to many of us in that room. And it was kind of cool to see that, you know, some of the problems we face here in Russell, Kelly from Wichita also faces, right? Some of our realities, they do kind of intertwine. One of the things that has really resonated with me the last few days, we were talking about the future of funding, right? And at-risk funds and what's going to happen, what's that going to look like for school districts. And Commissioner Watson said, and he kind of led up to it, you know, when he was even principal at Concordia, the number of contact days at that point, almost every school district had 180. 0 school districts in the state of Kansas right now have 180 student contact days. Many aren't even close. The one with the least is 142. So while he's telling this story and sending the message, he's talking about how all these school districts are reducing contact days, but they're not changing instructional practices. And that's something you guys have been seeing me. I put it in my board report. I've been sending those things in morning emails. But the thing that really resonated with me is he said, you know, we all like local control, but when your data is not telling a story, that's when the state's going to intervene. So if you want local control, we've got to start putting forth actions and changes that keep the state kind of off your back. And I thought that was very telling and very true to what we're experiencing here right now in 407. And the other part of that I would like to speak of, he did a very good job of relating it to sports and just different aspects. He talked about, go ask your football coach if they want extra time. You know, typically your football coach is doing anything and everything they can to create these pockets of time. That's what they want. They're doing more in the summer. They're doing all these things. His message that he's trying to convey is we need to have that same sense of urgency starting in 3rd grade for our classrooms, right? So it was a very good day, one that I felt was well spent. I can't wait to go back next month and continue the conversations. So.
Administrators, do any of you have anything you want to add? Jay?
A couple things. Sports in Kansas were at the high school today. They interviewed our girls wrestling team. There'll be a big kind of video thing that they'll put out tomorrow. And they interviewed our team. So we're currently #1 right now in the state, going into regionals. So it'll be a pretty good thing for us to kind of get out in the media and everything like that coming up to regionals. Second thing, we have our big track meets coming up. I know it's April 2nd, but that'll be here before we know it when you get to spring break. April 2nd is the high school meet starting at 4 o'clock, and then the junior high one is April 23rd starting at 1 o'clock. So anyone is willing to help out, please let me know.
What time was the high school one start?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
April 2nd.
Albert, did you raise your hand to help?
No.
Are you sure? I thought I seen you raise your hand. Katrina, do you have anything to add?
Just that I'm getting deep in the budget, and so we're gonna start having some numbers here pretty soon.
Okay. Cody? How about the student reps?
I don't know.
Do you have anything you want to know?
Do we have anything we want to know? All kinds of stuff. I'm sure they got something.
How did your meeting with about the bond issue go?
Thought it went really well. I think students perceived it well. We were talking about it a lot, so I think that's what we needed.
Wow.
Thank you.
Board committee report. Ron, Foundation Committee.
Yeah, we met just this last Thursday. Had pretty good discussion. We were there for almost an hour. We talked about the scoreboard proposal that Mr. Nye is working on. And then also Jay had brought up the idea once again of the track meets, and the foundation is interested in running the concessions once again like we did last year. And so they're looking at a couple dates potentially to be able to do that for. So other than that, we talked about the bond and how things are progressing there. And that was about it.
Okay, steering committee, maybe I'm gonna let you have this if you wanna talk, or Nancy.
Well, we continue to meet on Wednesdays at Chet's, and there's been a lot of good ideas brought to the table, and there's been a few videos that have been made that have been presented up to the public and used their students and parents and people like that in there. Trish and I went today and talked with Albert to kind of give an update of where the steering committee is at and what kind of the next steps are. So,
Those videos are excellent.
yeah.
They're really good.
I really like the longer one.
Mhm.
That Mr.
That really
Sanders.
went through the different schools and showed what the needs were.
That was really,
Yeah,
really
and where all are those videos being played? Where?
They're all, they get posted to YouTube and then they get shared on Facebook and then the members share them out. And so they've gone a lot of different
I
places.
think there's-
Instagram.
Social media.
There's
Yeah.
one playing at the theater
Yeah, there's
before
one
the
playing,
movie.
yeah. It plays,
Some,
yeah,
yeah.
3 times or so.
Have you seen him? Are you sharing him with your friends and your world?
Yeah, a lot of kids
Okay.
have asked me, and like I think it's invoking thoughts. And that's
Great,
Yeah.
good.
and it was excellent, and I'm just gonna say something else real quick. Whoever did that did a really nice job. And it would be really cool if we could do the same thing with the other things that we do well here.
Yeah.
And advertise that out to other communities and let people know what we're doing.
Yeah.
It was a former student,
It was a former Russell High School student. Yeah,
Who was
a Russell
that?
student.
Curtis Busker.
Oh, that's right, okay.
Yeah.
He did excellent.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing for sure.
Very nice.
All right, well, I guess we can take a short recess of, what, 15 minutes?
side B. Ready?
Oh,
Got it.
yeah, we're ready to go. We're moving on to 58-130, executive session for student matters.
Mr. President, I move we go into executive session to discuss student matters pursuant to the exception relating to actions adversely or favorably affecting a student under the Kansas Open Meetings Act for a period of 10 minutes to include Mr. Perez and Mr. DeVue.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we go into executive session to discuss student matters pursuant to the exception relating to actions adversely or favorably affecting a student under coma, with the open meeting resuming in 10 minutes to include Mr. Perez and Dr. Denby-Wolf.
Mrs. Oberman. joined.
Oh, and Mrs. Hoffman. Yep. All those in favor? All those opposed? We'll see you all.
Go.
Jane, let the record reflect no action was taken.
Mr. President,
Yes, Ron.
I make the motion that we accept the following resignations. Natalie Abram, math teacher, Russell Junior Senior High School. Crystal Chapman, CAPS assistant at Bickerdike Elementary School. Lanny Healy, cook at Russell Junior Senior High School. Amanda King, CAPS teacher at Simpson Elementary School. New contracts, work agreements, Amber Lightfoot, food service, cook at Russell Junior Senior High School. Michaela McAvoy, CAPS assistant, Katie Revelle, CAPS director, supplemental, or not supplemental, CAPS director, sorry about that. Brandon Ridgely, baseball head coach at Russell Junior Senior High School. Chris Sight, track assistant coach at Russell Junior Senior High School.
Shaughnessy.
Shaughnessy Souls, CAPS teacher at Simpson, thank you for helping out with that. Kylie Stoppel, volleyball assistant coach at Russell Junior Senior High School. And then Mikkel Zorn, track assistant coach at Russell Junior Senior High School.
You're not done.
And one termination, Samuel Shepard, custodian, Russell Junior Senior High School.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we have accept the following resignations, new contracts, and the termination. Is there any more discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Mr. President,
Dr. Ellis.
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the meeting. All those in favor? All opposed? Motion passed.